This program is made possible by a grant from Friends of the Library, Maryville, Tennessee.
I never did run women down, never had to. They run me down. I've been all over the world, hon. My favorite was a cowboy in the West Indian Territory. The Indians fell for me. I lived a clean life. If I went with a girl, she had to be right.
This is Foothills Profile, featuring individuals whose lives have made a special contribution to the history of Blount County, Tennessee. This month, Nina Megginson talks with 105-year-old Blount Countyan Jim Prater.
He is a gentleman in every sense of the word, and he celebrated his 105th birthday this year, September 11th, 1986. Mr. Prater, you have been called the patriarch of Lowe's Ferry. What was it like in the Louisville community where you grew up?
Well, it's never amounted to anything much. It's just like it was.
Just exactly like
the Harpers is gone. They're the best people we had there, you know, Harpers. Maud Harper wanted to marry me after my wife died.
What was your family like in those days?
My family?
Uh-huh.
Good like it. We had lots of land, honey. We was very wealthy. We had that island, nearly 200 acres of island. Then we had river bottoms. We had, I forget how many farms we had, to tell you the truth about it.
You had a large family. What about your family?
I had 8 brothers, 1 sister, and I was the baby.
What did your family do in that area? They were just farmers?
Oh, yeah. We had farms, islands, river bottoms. We had the fat hogs with 100, you know. 100 head of hogs at a time. Turn them in the island, and they couldn't get out without swimming out. They wouldn't try that. And they just, all that corn, packed the island in corn, 100 acres. And that's where the hogs wound up, big fat hogs.
Will you tell me about the time that Admiral Dewey came to visit Lowe's Ferry?
Yes, ma'am. I was there.
You were there. How old were you?
Dewey and Hobson was there.
How old were you at that time?
Huh?
How old were you?
I was 11 or 12. I forget which it was. Mama let me go across the river to the Farragut home. Mama let me go with a bunch of hands that's there on the farm, you know. They got in a nice stew yawl, taking me across there, and I was there when they come down on the city of Knoxville. Is the biggest boat we had in Tennessee, and then the old nigger that hauled produce up and down the river. They brought 2,000 people down to the celebration, and I was one of them.
What was the celebration for?
Dedication for the Lowe's Ferry and Farragut. That's where he come from. He's where he was born. Admiral Farragut was born right there on this bank in Knox County. I lived in Blount, and he lived in Knox.
Why did you leave Louisville when you were in your 20s? Was it just for the adventure of going out west and seeing the world?
I wanted to see the world. I've seen it.
What all did you find out there?
Huh?
What all was there?
Well, cowboys. I used to be a cowboy.
You did?
I tried everything a little bit. I didn't have to. I was in very good shape financially, to tell you the truth about that. But I was a cowboy. I was a good roper. I left the lariat rope and my cowboy hat at home, and somebody stole both of them.
One of your Western experiences was in Oklahoma before it even became a state. What memories can you tell us about your life in the Indian Territory?
I lived with Choctaw Nation, and he offered to give me his plantation. Silas Bacon was a mason, just like I am. And he is the wealthiest Indian in Indian Territory, and wanted to give me everything he had, will it to me. He had something over 3,000 acres of land, that western land. Old Goodland, that's where we stayed. Me and them Indians had a good time. I had a life wide awake. Then when I left home, I went there to East St. Louis. And I'd go from East St. Louis up to, I'd get on a streetcar and give them a dime and go up to Horseshoe Lake and dance with the girls. I'm a swell dancer yet.
After your many adventures in the West, Mr. Prater, you did come back to Blount County, and you worked with the Aluminum Company of America for about 18 years. What was your biggest accomplishment while you worked there?
Well, there's one thing, I was a chief detective in the whole thing outside of my job.
What do you mean by chief detective? What did you do?
I caught these crooks.
You did?
That's all I had to do. That was easy caught.
What else did you do at the Aluminum Company?
I was a general manager at one time.
I understand you hired somebody very special when he was just a young man.
That was E.M. Chandler.
What about Mr. Harper?
I gave him a job.
Where did he start in the company?
$15.
What about his job? What did you give him a job doing?
He went on up, he come up to climb, and he went on up till he got to be president of the United States Aluminum Company.
That's quite an accomplishment.
You know about that, you read about that.
Quite an accomplishment.
But John D. was a boy, he is 15, he is in school, and his father was a mason, and I'm supposed to be very close to a mason. And I didn't do a thing, but Uncle Doc, we called him Doc, Lafayette was his name. He's John D.'s father. Me and him was a very close friend. He was much older than I was. And he says, Jim, John D. got to go through school, and he says, I've got $8,000 saved up, which was a pretty good bunch of money, not big money. But he says, could you give him a job? I said, yeah, I put him to work at the aluminum company. I put him to work. It turned out to be a multimillionaire. John D., he's dead now.
I understand that you're the oldest living former employee of Alcoa.
Right.
Does that make you really feel special?
That's correct.
Does that make you feel special? Being the oldest living member of the aluminum company employees?
I'd say so.
You've had such a wide variety of interest in your life, Mr. Prater. You've played musical instruments, you sing, you've danced, you've even had food preparation and done a lot of other things, and even painting. What are some of your favorite things that you enjoy doing?
My favorite was a cowboy in the West Indian Territory. The Indians fell for me. I brought a pair of spurs they sold the other day. They shouldn't have been sold, but they was. I wasn't at home. I can get them back for $30 if I want to. They're gold and silver.
What about your music, Mr. Prater? That's been a big part of your life. Do you still play the violin?
I still play them. I got 3.
You do?
I got 3 violins. Yeah, I had one brought home last week. I loaned one to a lady about 4, 5, 6 years ago, and she never did bring it back, and so I sent Burl Davis. Do you know him?
No, I'm not acquainted.
Well, he's secretary of mine. That's his business. And I sent him after. He got my violins home now. I play all 3 of them.
Do you still play the piano?
Some.
Some. I understand that you danced the Tennessee Waltz on your birthday. Are you looking forward to doing that again? You're looking forward to doing that again sometime in the future?
Yes, I do. If I go to Nashville at the dedication to the governor, I've been invited to bring Bonnie Mars. I'm not going to take her.
You're not going to take her? You're going to go and try to celebrate over there in Nashville and dance the Tennessee Waltz?
I'm going to go to Nashville. I'm going to Nashville and celebrate.
This year was Tennessee Homecoming '86, and you were honored with this being Jim Prater Day, and you rode in the parade. Was that an exciting day?
That's right. I was dedicated as the fix it for me to be dedicated as outstanding man of the. Didn't stop at Tennessee, United States. Put that on me.
Did you enjoy riding in the parade? Did you enjoy riding in the parade?
Oh, yeah. I had some spurs the Indians gave me. It was a woman's leg. One had a gold garter on it, solid gold now. The other didn't have as way as marked. One had a gold garter and the other didn't have nothing on it. Only this silver, gold.
Did you see a lot of friends when you were in the parade?
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people waved at you and...
I danced. I had a good time anywhere in St. Louis. And I had a good time everywhere I've been.
We've hardly touched on the 105 years of memories that you could share with us. But here's the big question. As far as you can see, how would you sum up your life and what you owe your long life to?
Clean.
Clean.
I never did run women down, never had to. They run me down. I tried to. My wife was beautiful. You never saw her picture, did you?
No.
I'll bring that up here and show you. Prettiest woman you ever seen. She and I was taken together. I had curls all over my head. I got a good picture. I look like somebody. You'd like to see it. I'll bring it to see.
Do you have any advice for people if they want to live a good, clean life and a long life? What advice would you give them?
Just clean. I don't drink a drop. I go to church when it is open. I lived a clean life. If I went with a girl, she had to be right. Clean, nice girl.
Have you enjoyed living in Blount County all these years?
I've stayed here. I don't like it too much right now. My home's broke up. Everything's broke up now. And I still like to live.
What are the favorite things you enjoy doing right now? What are some of the favorite things you enjoy?
Music.
Music. What about visiting with friends? Do you have very many people come to visit you?
Oh, yes. I'm loaded with them every day.
That's good.
I've got people that come from miles, some out of Florida, some out of Texas, Oklahoma. I've been all over Florida, Texas, Oklahoma. I lived in Oklahoma. That beautiful wife of mine, you never seen her. I'm going to bring you her picture. You'll say she's a beauty. We never had a baby. My wife was like an inch and a quarter, being as tall as me. I'm even 6 foot long.
She was a tall lady then.
Huh?
She's a tall lady then, right?
Oh, yeah. I weighed about 170, 80, heavier than I am now. But my health's been perfect all my life.
You've been prominent in Blount County and all over the state in politics and in the Masons. Could you give us something about how you got started in the Masonic Lodge?
Well, in the first place, my father was a Mason. I went where Daddy did. And then I went on up in Masonry, and I take what I could get, what they'd allow me to have, and I've had a very happy, desirable life. I had the sweetest mother in the world. I didn't like my daddy like I did Mama. He drank whiskey and cussed all the time, kept whiskey at home all the time. I didn't like it. We owned, I don't know how many different farms, I guess over 1,000 acres of land. Island, Lowe's Ferry, right across the river from where Admiral Farragut, your first admiral was. I've got lots of history, sweetheart.
What about in the Republican Party? You're Democrat, Republican, support what party?
I'm a Democrat.
Always, right? That's great.
That don't suit you.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
That is? Oh, yeah, I'm 100% Democrat.
I heard you.
And I'm going to Nashville, and Governor, me and the fellow's working for the aluminum company, that blonde, that fellow, he wanted to go with me, and I said, let's go. We'll go, it's about a month that we'll go. I'm going to dance. They got one of the finest dance halls in Tennessee. And I'm going to dance with some of the good-looking ladies.
Well, I sure hope you enjoy that trip, Mr. Prater.
I'm going to put on the evening clothes, the tails. I'll wear the tails. I look good in them.
Mr. Prater, in your living and growing up in Louisville, what was the area? What did it look like then? What did it look like when you were a boy there? Was there much to see?
Oh, yeah. Lord, just turned it wrong side out, that's all. When I was born, people didn't know nothing, but my father owned 7 farms. One island had around close to 200 acres in it. And he went land crazy, my daddy did. He liked liquor too. I didn't like that. I had the sweetest mother. She was an Abernathy, a Christian. Her father was Reverend Abernathy. She is a fine lady, and my father didn't give a D.
Where did you go to church? Where did you and your mom go to church?
Holston College.
Holston College? So you're a Methodist.
Right.
Did you enjoy the activities of your boyhood? What did you do to entertain yourself?
Oh, yeah.
What did you do to entertain yourself then?
When
you were a boy growing up, what did you do to entertain yourself?
I just play around among the cattle and the stock. And we had fine horses. I had 6 head of saddle horses. Then we had 26 head of mules in the barn, that big barn. Got blowed away.
What were the kind of things that you had to do for work to help around the farm?
I didn't have to farm.
You didn't have to work? Just a life of leisure?
Mm-hmm.
Did you go fish?
I was a baby boy. I got to do as I pleased.
You were the youngest of how many children?
Oh, yeah.
The youngest of 11, did you say?
Right.
How has Louisville community changed? What are some of the things you don't like about the Louisville community and what's happened to it?
Elizabeth.
To Louisville, what do you not like about the community? How has it changed that you really don't like?
There's different kinds of people in the community, huh? Some of them is good, some of them are bad. And some of them was envious. They make fun of you. I used to wear good clothes, you know. I wore the best tailored clothes that was made. Hart, Shefford, and Marks. And they come from Hall, places in West Town. And I've wore good clothes all my life. I've got them yet.
What about your schooling? Where did you go to school?
Holston College.
Okay. What about in grammar school? Did your mother teach you, or did you have people in the community?
I stopped at that.
You stopped at that.
I used to write a beautiful hand. I used to write a gorgeous hand. I don't now so much. But I love school. The teachers all loved me, petted me, made a baby out of me. Which I was a baby out of that many in family. But I had a happy life. I was crazy about Mama. I thought, Mama. I seen Mama do a lot. I'm going to tell you a little experience. I seen Mama one day. Daddy had died. He had a stroke. He didn't believe in heaven or hell, you know, where he went. And Mama, I was 7 years old. She says, Eugene, that's James Eugene. She says, let's go to the barn. Told we had a very fine mule. Everybody was fond of him. He was a young mule, never been broke. But he had a little operation, castrated. And so they had a doctor, a veterinarian to do it. He got out there, turned him out after 5 days. He said to keep him up 5 days. Turned him out 5 days, and it was raining. It was getting cool, and he made a jump and jumped the rail, stake and rider and fence. You see him way up. He broke that cord loose and went to bleeding. Nobody there but Mama. Daddy was dead. And Mama says, Eugene, she says, come on, let's go. We got the whole told about it. She'd take a Bible in her one hand and led me in the other. I trotted along there about 7 or 8 years old. We went out there, and she walked up to Tobe, put her hand on Tobe's shoulder, and read a piece about bleeding. She didn't read half of it till it stopped. Never bled another drop. That's right, that's the 16th chapter, and the 6th verse of Ezekiel. In case you can't stop blood, if you take a Bible and believe in God, you can read that, it'll stop.
Your mother...
I saw that myself when I was about 7 years old.
Well, you were a cowboy out in Oklahoma. What kind of things did you do?
What did I do?
What'd you do?
Cowboy.
What does a cowboy do out there? I mean, in real life.
He rode a good horse. I rode with 6 other fellows. 6 Indians rode with me all the time. And I rode the best horse in the crowd. And we had to run them cattle down every day, and check them every day. And I forget how many thousand there was on the ranch. And I just had a big time. I remember one afternoon, this is a little coincidence, we won't interest you much. We up on a big creek. We rode up there, and there's some post oak trees standing there. And there's all looked red. And them Indian boys, them Indians that's riding with me, with 5 or 6 of them, hey, look out, said they're migrating, they're traveling. These fox squirrels, I sat there on my horse, take a Winchester out of that holster on my skirt, saddle skirt. I knocked off 13 and never missed a shot. I take them back by S.L. Bacon, which was a full-blooded Choctaw, chief Indian of Indian Territory. He tried to get me to stay with him. He wanted to give me the whole thing, his whole estate, 20,000 acres. I was crazy. And I killed 13, kept 10 to eat myself, give him 10, and I kept 3 and give him 10. There's 13 of them.
Your friends out there in Oklahoma, who did you stay with there when you first arrived in Oklahoma?
S.L. Bacon. He is a mason now. I come in. I was made a mason in his lodge. It comes out all over the United States now.
Did you have a lot of Indian friends, or were most of them cowboys?
Indian friends and cowboys too. I had a bunch of them. My cowboys didn't drink. We rode good horses and had my fancy spurs. Sold a pair of my spurs down there, worth $150, $200. It is a woman's leg, cut off right here. The wheels in the foot, y'all, and somebody sold them the other day for $185. But one of them had on a gold garter. One of that woman's legs had on a gold garter. That is what run out here with the wheel on it. You know what a wheel is. That's what happened.
Do you ever hear from any friends back there in Oklahoma in the later years?
No.
When you moved back to Blount County and you worked in Alcoa, you were manager or food preparation operator, supervisor of 4 cafeterias in Alcoa.
I owned them.
You owned them. What all did you have to do, and was that a big job to try to keep 4 of them running?
I had 60 employees. I had to run them. They had to stay open day and night. The shifts changed, you know, all through the night. They had people they had to have. They worked them by the thousands. Lots of people there. And I enjoyed it. And a fellow that was working, I took him in to help me. He went to steal it. Got to be a millionaire. I started to shoot him one night. I called him something, but I wouldn't. If he called me that, I'd kill him. I kept a good gun with me all the time. I done that in the West, too.
Did you have to be a good cook to run all these cafeterias? Were you a good cook?
I hired the outstanding cooks all over the country. I had some people hired that was fantastic. Finest, they could make the greatest pastry. I was pretty well up myself on something, but I wasn't as high as those people that made pastry for me all the time. Oh, brother, they're out of this world. But I enjoyed it.
After you left Alcoa, what type of businesses have you been in, Mr. Prater?
I'm just farming.
Just farming. Right here in the Louisville area?
Yeah, I had 10 miles of Maryville.
What type of farming did you do?
All kinds, raised corn, cattle, hogs, everything. I had a very desirable life. I was a keen trader. I wouldn't tell you a lie. I wouldn't do that. I'm proud to tell you that. If I couldn't trade with a man, buying his cattle, hogs, or anything that I was doing, if I couldn't buy them right, I just walked off and left him. But I've had a historical life.
Thank you, Mr. Prater. Blount County salutes you for your many contributions that you've made to our community, and also for sharing your memories with the present and the future citizens of our community.
This has been Foothills Profile, featuring individuals whose lives have made a special contribution to the history of Blount County, Tennessee. This month, Nina Megginson has talked with 105-year-old Blount Countyan Jim Prater. This has been a production of WFBA Television, Alcoa, a ministry of First Baptist Church of Alcoa. This program has been made possible by a grant from Friends of the Library, Maryville, Tennessee.